Have you ever sat back and thought, what a crazy world we live in at the moment? We've got old people, I should say, of an older generation, people that would otherwise be minding their own business, maybe doing some gardening or, I don't know, puzzle, crossword, doing interesting things, sitting on Facebook, TikTok, and other things in a virtual world that doesn't really exist. Got to take the exhaust off of this. I know I've done a load of work to it, didn't I? Trying to get the exhaust and everything to work on it properly and all that kind of stuff. But it's time for it to move on. So that means I need to take the exhaust off of it because I don't want to move it on with my JP2. I want to move it on with the Reds exhaust that I had to accompany the 721 Reds engine. So it means I've got to mess around with these exhaust springs again. Probably never be able to get them on again. I need to get the proper exhaust spring tool, really. It really would help if I did get one of them. But I always say to people, invest in tools. Tools are the best investment that you can make if you do this type of thing. You can invest in any kind of thing. Tools are the best investment you can make. Invest in tools. I say that to everybody, but then I don't do it myself. So I'm a little bit of a hypocrite, really, I suppose, in a way. But I don't know. The teachers in schools do everything what they preach? Probably not. There we go. With the school thing, by the way, I'm not making a lot of progress with the teaching these Nitro. I don't want to teach them myself personally. I mean, I've got no business being in schools. I'm not a teacher. But I'd like to get this stuff taught in schools, ideally, because it'll help. There's so many children these days stuck scrolling on mobile phones, constantly watching a load of rubbish, frying their little brain cells. A kid's brain is like a sponge. Everything that it sees and hears and experiences, it soaks up. So going through all the rubbish on there is ridiculous for children. It's a criminal act, in my opinion, for anyone, the big companies and things like that, letting children be exposed to that kind of rubbish. Look at the amount of adults that are being brainwashed by all of this. A lot of people can't even be themselves anymore because they're too afraid to be themselves, because they don't know who themselves are, because of all the stuff they've been watching on the poisoned internet. Red's exhaust back on to match this 721 engine. Or was it 712? No, it's not 721. 721. This is a fantastic engine. I've always been massively impressed with how well this runs. But it's time to move on, Johnny boy. Time to move on. There we go, exhaust fitted. The bloke who bought this off me, by the way, is a YouTuber. So when the deal's been finalised and it's on its way, I'll let you know who it is and put a link to his channel so you can go over there and watch his channel and see what he ends up doing with this. I haven't got a clue yet. He literally just said, I'll have it off here, blah blah blah. We had a bit of a discussion. There we go. I don't know whether he's planning to race it, because it's a race truck. I don't know if he's planning to race it, if he's going to put a different engine in it. I don't know what he's going to do with it. But I'm quite excited to find out what he's going to do with it, to be honest. I know he's quite into racing at the moment. I think he's quite getting into racing buggies and things. So whether he's going to race a truckie, I don't know. So yeah, when the deal's been finalised and it's all green lights and go go go, I'll like I say, I'll stick a link to his channel. You can go and have a look, see what it's all about. Put my JP2 back in my little drawer of engines and exhausts and bits and bobs. We've got a duty as adults. Maybe you're not an adult, alright, but most of you probably watching are. We've got a duty to make sure that the younger generation, the children of today, grow up and have a prosperous they have a prosperous life ahead of them. Yeah. So we need to make sure that we don't brainwash them with all the rubbish that's being put out there on the internet these days. And you want to know something that's really terrible? A lot of teachers are caught up in all this craziness. It's mad. You hear the teachers talking about what they saw on TikTok, doing bloody TikTok dances, getting all the children in the school to come together and do a TikTok dance, filming it and putting it up on TikTok. It's a crazy life. Children shouldn't be worrying about what's on the internet. Children should be being children. Children should be playing. Children should be playing with real things. Whether it be Nitro cars or some other real thing. Bicycles, dolls, I don't know. In the garden, playing football, down the park with their friends, walking the dog. Whatever it may be, children should be doing that. They shouldn't be worrying about what's on a screen in front of them, destroying their eyes and their brain. The adults that are caught up amongst it don't realise the harm and the damage which is being done. A lot of them are highly addicted, because all these things are formulated to be addictive. That's the problem. Humans are easily addicted. By the way, comments, emails and Instagram PMs are absolutely going bonkers at the moment. I don't know what it's all about, but talking to you all at the moment, every single message, a lot of them, you lot seem to be quite doubtful that I'm even going to see the message. So sometimes it does take me a while. Look, I'm just an average person. I'm your little average Joe that walks down the road. You know what I mean? I'm not some organisation. I'm not a company. I'm not a this or that. I'm just an ordinary person that makes videos in what small amount of spare time that I seem to have now and again. I don't know what it appears to you lot coming through the camera lens, but that's the reality of it. And I very rarely, very seldom go on the Instagram thing and check things. I rarely go on the emails. I kind of go on them and then wish I didn't, because it's just full up with people that want to sponsor me from things from companies I've never heard of and no one's even bothered about. I mean, who am I? Do I look like that I want to promote a diet pill? Do you know what I mean? Do I look like I want to promote a blooming car play chair or whatever it's called? No. But there's loads of emails from you lot asking questions about, you know, your cars, you want some help or this or that and the other. I'm doing my best to get through them and help everyone as much as I possibly can. So listen, if I don't reply, at least if I don't reply straight away, try not to get too depleted. It's not because you ain't worth it, or it's not because I can't be bothered. It's just probably because I haven't seen it yet. Now that I know that it is blowing up, I'm making a bit more of an effort to go on there and have a look more often. But I am an ordinary person, so bear with me. I don't have a team or a set time during the day that I need to go and check on emails like a company would, because I'm just me. But I appreciate your time. Take that you take to send me, whether it's a comment, an email, or a PM on Instagram. The next time you sit down and think carefully about what's happening to all the younger people that are about at the moment. A lot of them feel like they're optional. A lot of them feel like effort doesn't lead anywhere worthwhile. Sitting down and scrolling through a load of rubbish for 4 or 5 hours, in some cases 14 and 15 hours a day, is the way forward. That's not the case. Young people scrolling for hours on end before they go to bed. Their minds absolutely scrambled with all the rubbish that they're absorbing. Most of them can't even remember what they've even watched. So instead of playing with real things like nitro cars or even electric cars, if somebody said to me today, okay, everyone will stop going on social media for anything which is less than useful for a purpose, if they all have an electric RC car, I'd say yeah, go for it. Because we all know that electric RC cars are poison. But if it means that the younger generation and even the older generation aren't going to be poisoned by the rubbish on these platforms, then I'll go for it. Short form scrolling videos are the culprit of a lot of problems. Long form videos like the ones that I make and so many others make aren't so bad, but we're being influxed by the AI videos now, so we need to be careful. As long as we're careful, we'll be alright. Get this right, there's a cataclysmic amount of people at the moment going into hospitals and other places to get diagnoses to get diagnosed for things like ADHD, autism, and a load of other rubbish which really shouldn't be diagnosed because their children don't have much of an attention span, or perhaps even them as an adult don't have much of an attention span and can't concentrate. The reason for this is because when you're going up and down scrolling and all the rubbish, your dopamine spikes and it goes up and down and your emotions go up and down all the time. You don't know what's right, you don't know what's wrong, you don't know if you're upset, you don't know if you're happy, you don't know if you're in the middle, you don't know if you're content, you don't know anything. Because you go from sad things to heartbreak things to happy things to funny things, all in the space of about 10 seconds when you're going through all that rubbish. Your attention span, you get instant gratification. You need a bit of dopamine, you go on that, you get instant gratification. Delayed gratification's a thing of the past these days. And because people can't concentrate, the kids can't concentrate in school, the kids have got no attention span indoors. The parents then, of course, they go to the hospital and say, I think my kid's got something wrong, I think they've got ADHD, I think they've got autism, they've got some other rubbish. The hospital probably says, no, do this and do that, but because the parents are so lazy, because they're caught up in it as well, all they want to do is scroll through the phone all the time. They can't be bothered to actually play with their children. They can't be bothered to look after, well, they look after them probably, but they can't be bothered to go down the park, they can't be bothered to go in the garden, they can't be bothered to do anything. All they want to do is sit down and scroll through that. And because all they want to do is that, they give a tablet to their children and let them do the same thing. The children can't concentrate in school or do their work. They go back to the hospital and say, there's definitely something wrong with my kid. I want a diagnosis now of ADHD or autism. To shut the parents up, the hospital, whoever it is, says, okay, we'll diagnose them. The parents are happy, my kid has got some kind of disease in their head, That's why they can't concentrate. No. If it wasn't for the rubbish on that, a lot of these children would never be diagnosed with any of these things. And because there's so many people being diagnosed with all of these things, it means the meaning of it is being diluted. Before we know it, before long, every person on the planet will have ADHD. Every person on the planet will have some kind of autism, because now it seems the spectrum, as they call it, is bloody massive. Everyone has got it. It doesn't mean anything anymore. We're heading for a disaster. And this is why I push so hard sometimes, to try and help those people that are interested in real things like nitro cars. And yeah, I don't like electric cars, but I will push it if it helps people. But nitro is where I'm at, and petrol. I push hard to help people realise that real things bring you more fun and more dopamine than any rubbish on a mobile phone. And smartphones, by the way, aren't the culprit. The culprit and the problem is the way that they are used. That's the problem. If they're used in a good way, in a smart manner, they're very handy and very useful. They're pocket computers after all. It's the way that they're implemented. And the big companies make millions and billions of pounds from you lot being addicted to that rubbish, frying your brains and your children's brains. We won't have any future for any people if we're not careful, because all of the children which should be interested in things like mechanics, engineering and science and all that other stuff, they're not going to be interested in any of it, because they're going to be fried and they're going to be flicking through that thinking, I can just make millions and millions of pounds by sitting here and flicking through this. You know, girls thinking I can make millions of pounds by getting me tits out on the internet. That's not the way to go, and we won't have any future. So we do need to be careful with what we're doing. Even electric cars need some kind of mechanical skill to keep them going. They've still got track rod ends, they've still got wheels and tyres and brakes. They might have electric motors, but there's components inside those electric motors. That needs an engineer, a skilled person with a mechanical knowledge to mend them and to make them. So we need these types of people. We need to look after our children, our younger generation of people. We must look after them. And one of the most heartbreaking things for me personally is the older people. People in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s that grew up in a real world, and now they're in this fantasy world that everyone else is living in at the moment, and they're watching these videos on the internet, and they're AI generated videos, and I can tell the difference. They're very realistic, but I can tell the difference. But they think they're real. There was a bloke at work, he had his phone up and he was going, oh my god, the skyscraper's fallen over in Dubai. He showed us this video, and there was a skyscraper that was meant to be in Dubai. I don't know if it was, but it was meant to be in Dubai, and it was wobbling like that, and then it fell over. And to me, it was the most stupidly AI thing I've ever seen in my life. But he believed it. And this bloke's 78 years old. Yes, he's still working, but he's 78 years old. And he believed it. And he was trying to say to us, no, it's real. And people go, no, that's blooming AI. That's computer generated. It's not real. That building probably doesn't even exist. And the country that it's supposed to be in probably looks nothing like that. And he was adamant that it was real. Everybody's brain, even the older generation, which would usually be out doing gardening and enjoying their life, are sat on these things, and it's gonna ruin us. Rightio, you lot, the battery's running out of camera, so I'm going to be out of here. But listen, I know that was a bit strange and a little bit out of the topic for RC cars, but if you've got the mindset that I have, you may be able to realise where that comes into the RC cars and where that comes into the things that I try to do for RC cars and the hobby in general. Because I firmly believe that the way we're going as a world, but also more particularly a country, Britain, is a catastrophically, cataclysmic, ridiculous way that we're all going. So yeah, there we go. I'll catch you lot on the next one. If anything that I said kind of resonates with you, or you think that it's interesting, put it in the comments. I'd love to hear all from you. And if you think that I'm completely bonkers and what I said was completely untrue, put that in the comments as well, because I'd love to hear your view on the way the country is at the moment, or possibly even the world. Once the deal goes through and it's all finalised for the sale of that truggy, I'll let you know who bought it, and I think you'll be happy about who bought it. It's a small channel, but then again, so is my channel, but he seems like a cracking chap, and I'm bloody excited to have that move on to him and see what he does with it. I'll see you later. All the best. Take care. Look after each other and yourselves.